I'm going to be the first to admit it. I portion control my plate better when I portion control my life. And that's just that on that. When I can portion control my life, it reflects in the way I portion control my food. I feel like there are certain skills that you develop and habits that you develop when you are in the fitness world, in the health space, that you can move into your personal life. But I also think it works the other way as well. When you're able to adopt certain things in your personal life, it becomes easier to adopt that in the kitchen, in the gym, whatever. The reason why in the past it's been hard to organize what needs to be on my plate, you know, what I need to eat, what my meal plan is, my workout plan, I can't organize and have that structure because I don't have that structure in my life. Like, that's the truth. When I'm just waking up anytime, that just, you know, and seeing where the day takes me. Whenever I'm on vibes, the vibes also takes place in the plate. It takes place in my relationships. It takes place in the way I look after myself. It takes place in the way I spend my money. And I just think when you start to move away from tracing an aesthetic and actually chasing holistic health, you start to realize actually how you move in one area of your life will filter into other areas. And I think that's just something I've started to realize a lot. Like, oh, okay, I really struggle to push and control my food because I struggle to push and control my life. Yeah, that's the truth. Like, that's the truth. And I think the more I started to like deep that, it was like, okay. When you can really like rein it in with certain areas in your life and put boundaries and make sure your yes means yes and your no means no, you can be able to do that with food. If I think back to, let's say, like 2024, if I think about the most recent year, just for ease, I had so much on my plate, literally and figuratively. Like, what's portion control when I'm piling and piling and piling things on my plate? I've always had a really big issue and struggle with rest, and rest as a concept. Rest is something that we've actually been designed to do. You know, I just struggle with that. So because I struggle with rest, because I struggle with downtime, I'm just always putting things on my plate, rushing, and I'm never giving my body time to take a break, take a minute to actually realize what's on my plate and do I still need the things on my plate. And you start to realize, why is it this little thing? This is expired. Why is it still here? Get out! Like, why is it still here? And I know I'm using like very like childish kind of like illustrations here, but I'm just trying to show you like there are times where we have things on our plate that are literally decaying. There are things on our plate that will literally make us sick because it has expired. The season has gone. It is done. Throw it away. There's things on our plate that might be good for us, but we actually need to save it for another day. We need to save it for a treat day. We need to save it for a different season. We need to save it for the weekend. And sometimes it's actually just things on our plate that we need to actually look at and be honest with ourselves and know that we cannot deal with this thing on our plate until we've mastered self-control. There's just certain things that actually have to wait for a season when we've mastered self-control, we've mastered boundaries, we've mastered self-love, like all these things. Like, but I think if you can't compartmentalize where things need to go, what needs to be in the bin versus what needs to be kind of stored in the fridge, what needs to go in the freezer, what should be on your plate, what needs to be reheated, what needs to be revived. If you can't like compartmentalize all of these things, you will end up stacking your plate. And I think that's actually what I did a lot of last year. And I think going into now the new year, I think I really want to be a lot more intentional and mindful with what is on my plate. And it doesn't mean that I can't have multiple things on my plate, but I think I have to know what purpose is it serving for right now. So essentially, whatever is on your plate, just make sure it aligns with the season you're in. There's things that are on my plate in January that might not make sense in May. It doesn't mean that the things I have in January are void or irrelevant. It just means that the things that I have in January serve the purpose for January and may not serve the purpose for May. And that's that on that. There are some things you're going to have in your plate that will be there year long, maybe for the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. That is fine. That's not a bad thing as well. But I think you have to be honest as to what's on your plate and why. Because I think when we're not honest with what's on our plate and why, that's when we just keep things on our plate because it's always been on our plate. But who put it on your plate in the first place? Who put it on the plate in the first place, girl? You know? So yeah, that's one thing I've just really learned. I'm speaking for myself. I think I'm speaking for a couple of people as well. I mean, there's a couple of people that relate to what I'm saying, but for the most part, I'm speaking to myself, and it was very enlightening and now I just feel like genuinely I'm portion controlling a lot better. But I just think it's because I'm also being mindful on, like I said, what's on my plate. I know how I start my day. I know the things that I need to do in my day that make my day feel purposeful and productive. But then I also have those days where they're just more of a rest, downtime, chill day, and that's also fine. And that also reflects in my diet. There are days where, you know, I might be more inclined to like measure something, or, you know, to the T, put the like less seasoning and all that stuff because I really want to be strict. And there's days where it's like, nah, I kind of want to season this up a little bit. I kind of want to da da da. But those are factored in for because I'm aware of what my goals are and I'm aware of what I need on my plate. So that's that on that, ladies and gentlemen, for any guys who are watching. So yeah, be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and I'll be back with another sit down chit chat at some point. So yeah, bye guys. Hey guys, I'm actually just filming this video because I want to just start doing more like just sit down chit chats, reflective pieces. Because I think there's loads of things I like talking about, loads of things that I feel like is very relatable, and sometimes it's only when I say it out loud I realize I'm not the only one thinking these things. And also I love my podcast down, but in between episodes it would be good to just have this kind of like just a little chit chat really, and where you guys can get to know me a bit more outside of hosting the podcast too. So with that being said, make sure to follow The Real Rose. I have kind of changed my name from Run of Rose just because I don't know what happened when I turned 30, child. It's like I just felt like the Run of Rose boxed me into fitness and health, and you just never know what I might be interested in the next couple of years, and I just felt, let me have a name that just can grow with me. So of course, for the time being, fitness is still like my first love. I love all things health, wellness, so on and so forth, but I love advice. I love little girly chit chats and stuff like that. So I just felt, let me just actually just call it The Real Rose, because I also feel like I keep it real. I try my best to, within reason. So yeah, that's the reason behind the new name. So yeah, make sure to follow The Real Rose on all platforms, because I'd be saying stuff. I'm a yapper, and I feel like that's why I wanted to come on YouTube, because love me TikTok, but I do feel like on TikTok I'll literally put my phone ready to record and I've recorded 6 minutes out of nowhere, and it's like this, I don't know if 6 minutes on TikTok works the same as 6 minutes on YouTube. So I just thought, let me put my content across different platforms and be able to reach different people, speak to different people, and expand the community really, because I just love chatting to the girls about the things that we really be going through, good and bad, you know, and everything in between. And where, you know, I just be keeping it real. That's really it. I'll be keeping it real about all topics. And don't forget, when it comes to health and wellness, for me specifically, it is not limited to what you eat, how you move. I'm always going to come from a holistic health point of view. So if you love that kind of content, if you like those kind of chit chats, advice, all that good stuff, make sure to stick around, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will be back soon. Bye. Thanks for watching.